Hi guys, this is Stylish. I'm doing another first person VOD for you guys, and this time I'm going to play versus a Swedish player called Siege. He's probably the second best Zerg in Sweden right now, right after Nogrum. He has been inactive for a while, but now he's back and he's doing pretty good on ICUP, and well, I wish him all luck in his comeback. Anyway, this time I'm gonna do an in-game VOD of the 9-minute push Terran versus Zerg. I have already shown you the build order, where I was talking about more in detail about the exact build, about the timings, and about what to build next with using the SV and stuff like that. But this time I'm more going to talk about what I think, maybe about the meta game or whatever it's called. So first off, whenever I start on a four starting location map like Othello or Python or anything like that, the scouting pattern is very important because usually there isn't like 1/3 of a chance to find him, because usually you can gather some information about where his location is, even though you don't know where he is, by sending your SCV in specific locations. And you might find a drone scout, or you might find an overlord coming from a specific direction that will give you information where he is. And that's very important when you do this one barrack start, because you won't have that many marines, and you really want to know if he does the 9 pull. So here you can see I'm scouting with my my SV, and here I see his overload really quick, because I scout at 12, and that means that his overload will be in my natural when I go to my natural with my SV. He might also be like right above my cliff, floating towards my natural. So what I want to do is I go to the from this start location, I go to the very left of my natural expansion, and I check if I can see an overload. If I can't see an overload there, I will change my scouting direction, and I will go up towards 1 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock, because that means that he's probably not starting at 7 o'clock, and unless he sends his overlord in the other direction. I mean, there is also a bit of luck in there, but it makes it more than just 1/3 of a chance to actually scout his base. And the second thing I look for is when I see if he did 9 pull or not. I will see that at his hatchery. If his hatchery is almost at the yellow when I scout it, if I scout it on the first try, it means that he 12 hatched. And then I just go directly into his base and I see, did he take his gas or not? Because if he is going to do like a 2 hatchery build, he's going to take his gas like right away, almost at the same time as he takes his spawning pool. But if I see that he doesn't take his gas right away, I already know that he is going to place a 3rd hatchery. And if I can't scout him in his main base or in his natural making that hatchery, then I know, okay, he's making a hidden expo hatchery or something like that. So he's always going to make another hatchery if he doesn't take his gas very fast in the game. So you can actually know if he's gonna go 2 hatch or not, like the instant as you arrive at his base. So I'm recording this in the morning, so I haven't really woken up yet. My English is a bit blurry. I don't know. Anyway, here I do the SV transfer, and I didn't even look at the timing for the command center, because I know when to send my SVs. It's when the refinery is finished. That's very good, so I get pretty good timing for my SVs. One good thing to think about when you start a game is like the first placement of your barrack. I really want to do some macro area that can fit inside of one screen. I use F4 to get back to my macro area, where I just macro up and then go back to the battle. So I really want to have space. I want to have room for every macro building in just one screen. And that's actually pretty hard on this location. I was hoping I wouldn't get this location for you guys on this specific VOD, because this location I think is probably the hardest location where you can place your macro area in just in one screen, because it's really hard to find any space to do that. So I place my barracks as good as I can, and the factory and starports will still get a little more down on the map, so I have to scroll when I macro. But I mean, it doesn't really matter that much, but I always try to keep my barracks and factories and starports like in one screen as much as possible anyway. So back to the game. He did a 3-hatch build, and from there he can either do mutalisks or he can do, well, basically lurkers. He could also do the all-in circling rush, but since I have my supply depot there, I have additional vision, and I don't really care about if he goes all-in links, because if he does, I will have time to pull all my SVs to my main. At the same time, I go with my marines up my choke, and then I stop all the SVs when they are also on the choke, and he won't have any possibility to break my choke, and I just lift my command center, wait for 2 5-bats, and then move out again to take my natural. And also, this is a friendly game, so I wasn't really expecting him to do anything like an all-in serving rush. So here I scan, and I see the larvas. I see larvas saved up, so I know that he's probably doing a Muta opening. And as you can see in Rhett's first-person VOD, which was very good and informative as well, if you see evolution chamber, then it means that he can do a fake Muta opening. He can actually do a fake opening anyway, even if you don't see the evolution chamber, but that's not really an optimal build, because that's like that's almost like a cheese build or something, because you lose some minerals and gas just to hope the Terran will do well, won't scan your spire actually, or won't scout your mutalisks or lurkers. And then the game before, we played a game before this as well, but I didn't record that game. It was a shorter game where the first push made me win, but I think that this game is a little bit better because of the reasons I will tell you soon. Anyway, so I saw that he had no spire in my first scan, and then I used the second scan. And there I have to choose: will I scan in his expansion, or will I scan in his main? And in our last game, he put his spire in his main, so I thought maybe he will put his spire in his main, maybe that's what he does. And my first scan didn't really cover his whole main, so that's why I chose to scan another scan in his main, and I found it, obviously. So that's a bit about, you think about previous encounters and what style the opponent has and stuff like that. That can really help you out when you play a rematch. The thing about this game that I think is interesting is that I do my first push at 9 minutes. It's almost exactly 9 minutes. I think my vessel pops at 8:55, and then it gets to my natural at like 9 minutes. So everything is going fine. I think I have like 85 supply. Maybe I missed a couple of SCV defending versus mutalisks, and maybe I missed just a couple of marines. But I think I have like 2 12s of marines, and then like 5 medics, 3 tanks, and a vessel. So that's pretty good. But I really fuck up my initial push. I have like this major control issue. I don't know. Only this game, of course. It's maybe because I have been playing mech for like a month now. Because the map of the week has been Destination and Medusa, and I really like to do mech on those maps. So I haven't been practicing the bio micro Terran versus Zerg. Anyway, I will really practice my micro until my next VOD, of course. But I think it could be useful to see to watch a game where the first push really fucks up. It's just to show that this build order, it's still strong because of those early upgrades and because you add all those barracks when you move out and stuff like that. It's not really important that you kill him on your first push. Just do some damage, and it also will show you how much damage it would have done if I microed properly, and drop him his main at the same time. Oh, I hate when the tank does that. I don't know. He wanted to go his own way, and he met his maker, I guess. So as you can see here, I accidentally move into some lurkers, and then he comes and flanks me. He plays very good here, but it's not like totally fucked up yet. And then I'm gonna defense matrix my dropship, and then my vessel just goes to his main. I have no idea. I can't see where I click on his main with my vessel. My vessel just goes into his main, so I lose all vision of his lurkers, and all my units like die. And I wasn't fast enough with my scan and anything like that. So basically, I was just he raped me that battle. Okay, so from now I think like, oh shit, I really gotta keep pressure on him. And I know he has his third. I know he has his third somewhere. So now I think I might pressure his third at the same time as he is clearing up my marines in his main, because I did the dropship at the same time. I got some drones and I targeted the spawning pool, and I think it survived at 20 health or something like that. That's typical. Anyway, what's really good about this build is that right now I have 2-1 upgrades with my marines. So his lurkers is not very good against my marines at this part of the game. I can micro pretty good and get away with things you couldn't get away with if you didn't have the upgrades. So I just put pressure on him. I know that he has hive tech now and that he wants a Nidus up as fast as possible. And I hope that this Nidus is the first building Nidus, and I kill it as soon as possible, because a Nidus is like, it can change the game totally. Always when you go into an expo and you see a Nidus, kill the Nidus first. It's more important than even killing the drones. And then I just micro here a bit, and I just try to keep him busy, and at the same time put pressure on his main again. That's really important. I think when Zerg has hive tech up, one of the most important things is just put pressure on him. Even if you don't have that big army, just move around and as Day9 put it, be cute everywhere. Just keep him busy and keep him out of your base, because the moment that you see a dark swarm in your natural, that's the moment you're basically gonna lose the game. So I caught him a bit off guard here, since I was microing up in the corner and attacking here at the same time, but I think it would have gone quite well anyway, because I have 2-1 upgrades and soon I have 3-2 upgrades. So this build is really strong late game as well, even if your first push fucks up. As you noticed, I've added another barrack as soon as possible and added another starport. And then as the game goes along, you can add more barracks and maybe another starport as well if you get a third gas. Because at some part of the game, when you micro and macro and attack everywhere at the same time, you're gonna have enough money to expand. So be sure to take your third, like somewhere in time where I did take my third here. I forgot to mention it in this commentary now, but you could see it. Just go back and see when I took my third. Anyway, so in this late game, I will have 2 starports making vessels, and I will have almost 3-2 upgrades marines. And if the Zerg isn't on 4 bases right now, he's basically in big trouble, because I'm 3 bases well upgraded, and I'm in macro mode. So that's one of the strong parts of this build order. Just as I said before, the early upgrades, it's so strong. Early upgrades is like everything in Terran versus Zerg. And as you see here, I push him at 2 locations at the same time. And I'm trying to be a bit cute here, attacking in the up corner, and then I'm going to do a racer at his drones in his main. But I see scourges like everywhere, so I get a bit afraid and I have to go back. But he wasn't really thinking to, he wasn't aiming for those vessels with the scourge. He was going to go up here, but I didn't know that, so it's better to be safe. And here he cast a Dark Swarm, and you don't always have to, go back when he casts a Dark Swarm. I noticed he had only one lurker, and I had like this huge army, so yeah, then I can just just go through and kill his building. So, and here I do the razor. Well, it's GG anyway. So I thought it would be good to show you this replay where I really fuck up my first push and show you that this strategy is not only viable if your first push does significant damage. You don't even have to do significant damage if you do this strategy. But then just imagine how strong it would be if you do significant damage and drop his main at the same time and then attack his third with another army, a new produced army from your natural. I mean, it's insanely strong, and I advise you to practice this build as your standard Terran versus Zerg build, because it's not really weak. It doesn't have any weaknesses versus Mulis, and it's very whenever you do this build, you can adjust to whatever he's doing, because it's the opening that's very standard. And if you do 2 hatch, you can just change your build, and if you do lurkers, you can change your build, etc. But this time he did 3 Hatch Muta, so I kept to the build, and I won the game. So I will be playing versus this guy more, and hopefully can give you one more game of this strategy, and then I go on to do a VOD of some other strategy. I hope you had fun watching this, and now